हो सकता था मैं आज start कर दूं, but I thought that you know what, we should give some introduction to the students. So let us try understand the pattern of civil services. And before understanding the pattern of civil services, we must know what is civil services. Don't you think we should have an idea what the civil services is? So let us try to understand the polity of the country. Very basic, right? बहुत ही आराम से let us understand what is civil services. See, you are a person. You're a normal person who is living a normal life. You might be living an extraordinary life, but the thing is, let us say you are here and you are standing here, and there is your family. These people are your family, right? And then there are so other people who are your neighbors. They live around you. Then there are some people who are your college mates, your teachers, your let us say someone who works in a mall, someone who drives a car, etc. There's so many people in a country. एक country में बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं. The question is, who will decide? Right? Who will decide? Who will take those decisions? Who will take those decisions? Who will decide that what road should be built? कौन बताएगा कि कौन सी सड़क बननी है? Who will decide what scheme should be launched? कौन बताएगा कौन सी स्कीम लॉन्च होनी है? Who will decide कि हमारे रिलेशंस यूएस, रशिया, चाइना के साथ कैसे होने चाहिए? Who will decide that our relations will be of this nature with US, Russia and China, right? So the question is, we need a group of people. We need a group of people who will make these decisions for us. Don't you think that हमें कुछ ऐसे लोग चाहिए जो हमारे लिए ये decision ले? And that is where the concept of government comes, right? So you are, suppose these lines are you. These are all the people in the society. And you, all of you have decided that, look, there are some decisions which we have to take. But don't you think that, for example, let us say in your society or in your country, by your country, I mean a hypothetical and imaginary country, let us say 200 people are living. Do you think that everyone in these 200 people will agree to something? No, because one person will say, I want to do this. Another person will say, I want this law to be passed. So there is so much disagreement, which means that no decision will be taken. So what happens? They elect a few people. You elect some very, very few people. Out of all the population, a very few people are elected. Now these people are elected into the parliament or legislature, right? So what happens? You thought that, look, we are 200 people and we cannot take a combined decision. So instead, let us elect a few people, right? Let us elect a few people out of this 200. Let us elect 50 people who will take the decisions. And these 50 people are part of the legislature, right? But in this legislature, out of these 50 people, what happened? That 30 people were belonging to one sort of ideology. Another 20 people were belonging to another ideology, right? So what is happening now? Even in legislature, there is a disagreement. तो अब एक और problem आ गई. Don't you think there is a new problem that we elected these 50 people so that they can take the decisions, because 200 people means 200 different ideas. But after electing these 50 people, about 30 people have one idea and the remaining 20 people have another different idea. So even now, सारे 50 people एक idea पर agree नहीं कर रहे. So now there is one problem. Now there is another solution to this problem. Why don't we create a separate, smaller body? A smaller, separate body. By body, I mean an institution, which basically will have complete agreement of the ideas. So उन्होंने बोला that, look, we have 50 people of legislature. If 30 people agree on one idea, and obviously 30 people are in majority, so they can form the final institution, and this is the executive, right? A simple example is, let us take a simple example. that India has 1.41 billion people, right? But we know that we cannot take one decision simultaneously. So we elected almost more than 500. But if you add Rajya Sabha as well, like overall, we have like around 700 to 800 member of parliaments, right? So we have elected these 800 people. But even in 800 people, some people are from BJP, some people are from Indian National Congress, some people are from Communist Party of India, some people are from BSP, etc., etc. Right? Even in these legislatures, they are disagreeing. So ये decision लिया गया that let us pick the biggest party. Right now, the biggest party is BJP. Earlier, it was Congress. So they said that let us pick the biggest party. Why? Why pick the biggest party? Because they agree on the same idea. So at least there is some stability, and they will form this executive. Do you understand this? So the members of legislature, they become part of the executive. This is a smaller body. So now let us understand this is the big society which has a lot of people. Then this society elects some legislator, some people in legislature, right, to make their decisions. And this legislature makes many laws. Many bills are passed, many laws are passed. The laws are made in legislature. And finally, legislature, the biggest people, the group of people who agree with each other, ऐसे ऐसे सबसे बड़ा समुदाय जो आपस में agree करता है, that is elected. By elected, I mean that is appointed in the executive. So executive is the government. Please remember that those people who have some some problem with this, legislature or member of parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, they are not the government. Executive is the government, right? The people in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, they make laws, but they are not the government. Executive is the government, which is even a smaller body. So this is a government. But think about it again. There is one more problem now. There was a society of 200 people. They elected 50 member of parliaments. Out of these, 30 form the government. But the problem is that all these people are politicians. Now, you might like some politicians and you might not like one politician, but all of you will agree that majority of the politicians do not have enough education or knowledge to run the country. So, आप सोचो, the initial purpose to elect the government was to take decisions. Don't you think? To take some decisions. That was the reason we elected the legislature, out of which executive was appointed. But now the executive is made up of politicians who don't have enough education or knowledge. See, politicians की education और knowledge होना जरूरी भी नहीं है, because the entire idea of the government, especially in democracy, India has a democracy. The idea is like, एक बार सोचो, suppose झारखंड के एक गांव में, in a small village of Jharkhand, suppose some tribals are living, that is say ST community is living, and there are 1,000 people, and none of them have enough education. But who will understand their problem? उनकी व्यथा कौन समझेगा? The same person who comes from the same community. Don't you think? Another tribal person from the same village will understand the problem of these 1,000 people. And that is the thing. These people from this area, they don't have education. So it is quite possible that the person who is fighting election to support them, he might also not have any education. Still, he is given a representation in the government so that he can talk about the problems of the tribal people of Jharkhand. This is why education is not a criteria for central government, because if the education becomes the criteria, then those people, those marginalized section, the poor section, they will not be represented in the highest government. But again, some people will say there should be education criteria. But anyway, there is a lot of controversy with this. But the current thing is that majority of the population, majority of the politicians don't have any idea how to run the country. So now what they did, they created even another institution. This institution was UPSC. They said to the UPSC that, look, your job is to give me highly educated and capable people who want to serve the country. So UPSC was made Why was UPSC made? Was made by politicians to basically assist them, उनकी सहायता करने के लिए, उनकी मदद करने के लिए, to help the politicians run the country. They created UPSC, and UPSC will conduct exam through which they will elect you guys, right? They will elect you, they will appoint you guys through this exam, and then what will be your purpose? To help and assist the politicians of the government in making schemes, implementing schemes, right? Mainly the work is regarding implementation of the scheme. But from last 30 or 40 years, the nature of civil servant has changed. Now you will not only implement the schemes, but you will also give many ideas to the government. This is the reason Niti Aayog has been created. Niti Aayog is the India's biggest government-based think tank. What is a think tank? उसके नाम में ही लिखा है. The name itself suggests. Think means सोचना. So basically, the people who are part of the think tank, they think and they come up with ideas. But do you know who is the member of the think tank? All the IAS officers, all the IRS officers, or all the people who have cleared the civil service examination. Sometimes they are appointed in Niti Aayog to think as well. So now the purpose of a civil servant is to implement the schemes, to help the politicians in the power, at the same time to come up with new ideas to help the country as well. But think about it once again. Do you think that a person like this IAS officers, or let us remove the IAS officer, the UPSC, I told you this organization was created to give the politicians those people who will help them. But do you think it is enough? It is not. Because do you know what is the actual term used for IAS officers? It is civil servant. Right? It is a civil servant. Civil means normal people. That means you are the servant of the people. And that is why, finally, the final conclusion is that this is the government and this is the people. These are the people. Civil servant is a link between the people and the government. It is a link. It connects the people and the government. How? How does it connect the people and the government? The civil servant takes the money, takes the schemes from the government and gives it to the people, right? At the same time, the government takes the problems of the people and tells them to the government. Also, the civil servant collects the taxes from the people and gives it to the government. So this is the purpose of becoming a civil servant. Now there are many types of civil servant. IAS usually deals with administration, laws, schemes, implementations, etc. IRS usually deals with taxes, right? IPS obviously deals with law and order, mainly order in the society. But IPS is more about inside the country, don't you think? It is not the army. Police is not army, because army is about external safety of India, but police is about internal safety of India. These are the two big differences, right? And there are other services in railways, in account, etc., etc., etc. But the purpose of a civil servant is to link the government as well as the people, right? So ultimately, the reason I'm explaining this to you is because that you must know what is the examination you are fighting for. Otherwise, there is no point in preparing. So please write in the chat if you understood what I was trying to tell you. Just write yes or no. Okay. So the thing is, I will always ask this feedback to you, feedback from you, and that is why I will always ask for you guys to attend the live classes. Because think about it, I have taken many batches. Some students attend the live classes, and do you know क्या होता है? What happens is that a person attends the live classes today, he will attend tomorrow, and even like for 10 days, suppose he has attended the live classes. On 11th day, due to some emergency, he was not able to attend the live class. So he has missed out the 11th day. So it is understandable that because of the emergency, he has not attended it. But on the 12th day, instead of attending the live class, he will watch the recorded class. But जो 12th day की class है, the class on the 12th day, he did not attend it. On the 13th day, he will watch the recorded version of the previous class. So he is only watching the recorded lectures. And trust me, we have taken many batches and we already have recorded lectures. Do you think we should just upload those lectures? Do you know how much time we will be saving? A lot of time if we just uploaded the recorded lectures, because we have recorded lectures, right? But we are conducting live classes because we want regular feedback and we want genuine chain of connection. So that is the thing. Even if you miss 1 day or 2 day, right, join the live classes nonetheless and watch these lectures at other time, right? That is why live classes attendance is very, very important for your own personal growth, right? I will conduct the class and I'll go away in my home, but you guys will be there and it is very important for you. Now, there are few things that I wanted to tell you as well. Well, we have been talking a lot, but there are some aspects which I wanted to cover. First of all, we will be covering NCRTs from 6th till 12th, right? First of all, this is the first note. All right. Secondly, the question is about the notes. I will write the notes on the PDF itself, and that PDF will be uploaded. And because we are reading directly NCERT, right? We are reading NCERT directly. But the way I have arranged the pages is that this is the slide and the NCERT is in the middle. And there are blank sides on both the sides. On these blank sides, I will write extra knowledge, all the extra points which are not mentioned in the NCERT. So your holistic approach and your holistic, uh, you know, development actually takes place. So this is what we are going to do. The third thing is, this is your promise to me. You will always try to attend the live classes, because otherwise there is no point of watching the live classes or this course if you could have just watched the recorded lectures. And the fourth thing is, you will make some notes as well. Why am I saying this? See, all the material, all the written material which is in NCERT, that is there. You are not supposed to note that. But the moment I start to draw on the screen, right? Always observe this. When I'm drawing on the screen, you are supposed to write that. In history, we use a lot of maps. I use a lot of maps. Why? Because maps help you understand and remember history. Because history can be a bit difficult and can be a bit rigorous. But by using maps, it becomes so easy for you to remember. Right? Please understand that. So you are supposed to make notes whenever I start to use my pen, like I'm using pen right now. Whenever I start to use pen, or I start to draw a map or a diagram, you are going to note that in your copy, right? Because so that it sustains in your brain. Everything which I'm saying, suppose there is a paragraph of NCERT on this page, and we have read it, but everything that I'm saying, which is trying to explain you these things, and those are the things which are not written in the paragraph. Those are the things also you are going to note in your notebook. And after this syllabus, trust me, you will be much ahead of all your competitors. And that is the guarantee I give you. Because NCERT is designed in a manner that it gives you a complete holistic understanding. It is important for prelims, plus it is important for mains. All right. So these are the things you are supposed to do. Now, let us understand a few more things. Let us look at the examination pattern of the civil services examination itself, because obviously some of you might need this sort of guidance. So let us just discuss it so that we can address the elephant in the room and move on. Can you please answer me one question? Do all of you have English as your medium for civil services examination? Just write yes or no. Okay, okay. So see, that is the thing. I will conduct the classes in English, and some of you who are not too comfortable in English, but since you have to write the exam in English only, I will speak slowly to make sure you understand this. But please, before this, I will suggest there's a English PDF online. This is a book by Neetu Singh. If you know this book, it is fine, but this is a book by Neetu Singh on English grammar. I will suggest you download this book. I will not give you the source of the link, but trust me, you can go online and write the Neetu Singh PDF, and you will find a free source. Download this book and read this book every day. Right? Read one page or 2 pages every day. Your English by the end of the 1 month will be exceptionally good. It will help you in answer writing in mains, because that is our purpose, right? So now let us understand the pattern of civil services examination. There are two stages. There are two stages, prelims and mains. All right. In mains, there are two further stages, written examination in mains and interview. Right. So interview actually, technically, is part of the mains itself. Right. That is the thing you must remember. We usually say that whenever we speak mains, we usually mean the written examination, but interview is already part of the mains. And that is why the marks of the prelims are not counted in the final, right? Only the marks of mains examination, which includes the written examination and the interview, they are counted, and the final cutoff is made. That is the thing. In prelims, there are two papers, General Studies 1 and General Studies 2. General Studies 2 is CSAT. Basically, it is about English, it is about mathematics, it is about reasoning, and all those stuff which are usually asked in SSC, CHSL, and all the other examination. That is there. The cutoff for this is only 33%. But the problem is that many students are finding it difficult to score even 33% marks in CSAT. So this is my request from all of you since day one. And it is like you can prepare it on your own. Just go on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and type CSAT complete course. You will find many playlists. Watch these playlists, one video per day. And by the day you will attempt civil services play, you will be very much ready to take on the examination. Then let us come to general studies. See, the general studies paper of prelims basically has multiple things, right? It has science, history, environment, geography, polity, current affairs, right? These are the things which are part of the general studies paper ones. Now the number of questions are 100 in GS paper 1. I'm talking about prelims, right? Number of questions is 100. 2 marks are given for every correct answer, and 0.66 marks are deducted. This is the negative mark. 0.6 is basically is 1/3 of 2. If you multiply 1/3 by 2, the answer is 0.66, which basically means that 1/3 of the marks are deducted. Now, number of questions in CSAT are only 80, but 2.5 marks are given for every correct answer, and 1.65 are deducted. Right? That is the thing. Again, 1.65 is 1/3 of the 2.5. That is the thing. Now, candidates need to score at least 33% or 60 to 66 marks to qualify in CSAT. Right? That's the thing. And both the exams are conducted for 2 hours each. So you get 120 minutes to answer 100 questions. Now it might seem easy, but in examination it becomes very difficult, right? Because recently the civil services prelims is becoming more and more difficult. So you have to read very, very long options, very long statements. So it is possible that you are not able to finish the paper. But since day one, you need to make sure that you are. And that is why you need to improve your reading capacity. How will you improve your reading capacity? First of all, by referring to this book by Neetu Singh, and secondly, by reading a newspaper daily. How will you read newspaper? Those are the sessions which will be taken by Vishwajit sir. And even in future, we will also discuss. I will open up a newspaper and I'll tell you how to study. We will do this after a while, right? Don't worry. So now, for history, there's only one line. In prelims, there's only one line. History of India and Indian national movement. It is such a small line that we have no idea where the questions will come from. Don't you think? Don't you think that civil services is trying to play with us? Because they have just said history of India. Now, history of India can be anything. And Indian national movement, okay. Indian national movement is a bit specific, so we can identify. But history of India, what does it include? UPSC does not tell us. But the question is, how do we know what to study? We know what to study by previous year questions, and this is your Bible, Quran, Gita, whatever. This, the previous year questions are your like holy source of your selection. Every teacher on the planet who teaches the subject for civil services is reliant on PYQ himself or herself. So this is for you. Go through the PYQ one by one every day, right? Suppose like pick up the 2002 2022 PYQ of prelims, right? And how will you go through it? I'll tell you in the future as well. But let me give you an idea. Suppose this is a question and this is the question statement. This is the option A, option B, option C, option D. You know what? Let us start a let us take a hypothetical question. The question is that science, not science, what I'm talking about. Let us say the question is that what is 5G? Suppose this is the question. What is 5G? Option A, it is a communication technology. Option 2 is it is a satellite, not just a satellite. It is a geostationary satellite. Third statement is it is a new type of Internet of Things. The fourth is that it is a new technology for Agni missile. This is not the question which has been asked. This is not the question which has been asked. I have just created this question for, like, my purpose is to deliver you a message. What is the message? That when you are doing the PYQ, I'm telling you how to do them. Look at this question. Suppose this is the question one. Look at this question. The question is asking what is 5G. So don't go anywhere. Don't read even a single word anymore. You know that the question about 5G has been asked. That means in 2023 or in future, a question about 5G can be asked again. So go on Google and read everything about 5G. What will you do? Type 5G space UPSC. So many websites will have so many articles. Read them and make notes on Evernote, online notes, or OneNote. You can literally go on YouTube and ask, like literally search for how to use these softwares. Try to make online notes because it saves you time. You can make physical notes, it is up to you. I prefer online notes because it saves time, right? So you will search this 5G space UPSC. You will have many articles. The things you don't know, write them in Evernote and in OneNote. Your work is done. Then after doing that, you will come to option A. You are reading communication technology. So this is the new term for you. So now the thing is, if an option is mentioned, that means UPSC knows about it. If UPSC knows about it, they will ask this question in the next exam. So that means that this communication technology, which is currently written in option A, can be made a question on its own. Next year, the question could be, which of the following are the examples of communication technology? That is what UPSC does. It switches up the options and questions and rearranges them. So after coming at option A, you will go and Google, do the same exercise. Then you will come to option B, go on Google, learn about geostationary satellites. Then go on Google, learn about Internet of Things and Agni missile and all the other missiles. If you do this, and if you do this, this is what you will do. In doing one question like this, you will spend 30 or 1 hour minutes, 30 minutes or 1 hour, and your work is done. Next day, pick up another question and do this. And trust me, if you do this thing, you will be miles, kilometers ahead of your competition, because you are not fighting this competition with, like, you are not supposed to get 90% marks, 95% marks. It doesn't matter. You have to get marks more than your competitor, right? That is all you want. That is the thing. If you do this, trust me, you will be far ahead of your competitor. But honestly, you have to do this every day. 1 or 2 questions every day. You have to study like this. Make notes, right? Because PYQ are your soulest soul, right? That's the thing. Then after clearing the prelims examination, you will be facing the mains examination. Now in mains examination as well, there's an entire syllabus. Technically, there are how many papers? There are overall 7 papers plus 2 language papers. These language papers are English, and another language which you can choose. It could be Hindi, it could be Marathi, it could be Kannada, etc. Right, that's the thing. So there are two language papers. They are qualifying in nature. You need 33% marks out of 250, and they're qualifying. Technically, they are not that difficult, right? They are not that difficult. They are very easy, and the marks are given. But the problem is, some people still fail these. They fail to qualify 33% marks. So since day one, try to see, like, go through the PYQ of these two papers and see yourself in which aspect of these papers are you lagging. For example, suppose your English is very good, maybe your Hindi is poor, so start learning some Hindi. If your Hindi is very good, or other regional languages, suppose your Tamil or your Malayalam is very good, so go and start reading English. This is what you have to do, right? Because we need to make sure that we get at least 33% marks in these two papers. Now these 7 papers are the ones whose marks are actually counted, and final cutoff is made out of these. Each of this paper is of 250 marks, as you can see here, right? Each of these papers is 250 marks. The first paper is essay, right? Essay can be written, as I said, in the candidate's choice language. If you want to write an essay in English, Hindi, Gujarati, etc., you can do that. Then these are the different papers. Out of these papers, these 4 papers, they are known as the GS papers. They are known as the GS paper. So even though it is paper 2, technically it is GS 1. In GS first, Indian history and geography and society are asked. In GS paper 2, governance, constitution, polity, international relations are asked. In GS paper 3, technology, economy, science and technology, environment, disaster management, they are asked. In paper 4, GS paper 4, ethics is a topic. Then finally, these are known as optional papers. I will suggest that since day one, pick an optional. Give yourself 1 week. If you have not done this, if you already have an optional, good enough. But if you don't have an optional so far, pick 1 week and look for the PYQ and the syllabus of all the optionals, and try to figure out what option you want, and basically start studying it, because it is very important that you have good grasp on optional since day one. Because optional, let me write it here. Why am I saying this? Because optional, I'm making a star, right? These optional subjects, essay and ethics, they are very, very scoring, right? Now the problem is with ethics is it is very vague, but essay is very important, and so are optional papers. So we will study other subjects, but optional is something you will do yourself, and that is why you should start preparing since day one, because it is the most scoring out of all the things. Now let us come back to our own subject. I've told you the paper. Sir, CSAT also cut a 1/3 marks for wrong question. So according to it is 0.83, and how it is 1.65. All right, so I might have made some mistake there. Thanks for reminding it me, Ruhin. You are actually correct. It is 0.83. It is my mistake. But the thing is, it is 1/3, right? That's the thing. So how do we tune into the PYQ approach to the changed pattern of the prelims questions that were asked this year? We will discuss this, Urbi. We will discuss the prelims specifically, but I will take entire session on how to deal with this. But that will only work once you know a few things. Let us take some classes, and after that, I will have some examples to give you. There are some techniques as well, and we will constantly discover how to score more marks in prelims and in mains. Right, that is the thing. In fact, in the next slide as well, I have discussed a few things. All right, let us see. See, from our perspective, I told you that the syllabus of history in prelims is just one line, right? Syllabus of history in prelims is just one line. But in mains, they have defined something. But still, this definition is very, very limited. If you go and see the syllabus of polity, geography, and of science and technology, economy, it is very well explained. But history, for some reason, has not been explained that much. Indian culture has been asked, right? Different art forms, literature, architecture. Then modern Indian history has been asked. Modern Indian history is about the Indian national movement. Then there is the question about the freedom struggle. which is basically related to it. Then post-independence India, what does that mean? That after India became independent, what happens then? And finally, the world history. This is the overall paper of history in mains. Right? That is the thing. Please note one important thing, that the medieval India, and we will discuss these things, don't worry, but the medieval India is not mentioned in mains anywhere. Right? Can you see it? No, it is nowhere mentioned. Yeah, that is the thing. So this is something you must know. And world history is not mentioned in the pre. What does that mean? That world history is not part of the prelims, and medieval India is not part of the mains. Right? These are the things you must know as well. So these are a few examples of questions that I have basically mentioned here, and we will go through them as well. And this is what I was trying to tell you, that how to approach the PYQs. So currently, I am pursuing BA honors in defense and strategic studies. So far, so for options, which subject to take? Miku, we will, you know what? After a couple of days, I will do an optional session where we will discuss these things, right? Don't worry. Just because you have reminded me of this, we will do a small session on how to choose an optional as well. All right, don't worry, we will do that. So let us look at the question decoding. Look at the title, decoding, because I am about to tell you how to read the PYQs. Obviously, now the pattern has changed, but still the things are same. So look at the question. With reference to the proposals of Cripps mission, consider the following statements. अब आपने इतना पढ़ लिया, you have read enough. Don't read anything. Go on the Google, write Cripps mission space UPSC, right? There are many links which will be generated. Click on first two links, read about it, make some notes, and put it on your note or online notes. Your work is done. Then you will come and read option 1. Constituent Assembly would have members nominated by Provincial Assembly as well as princely states. See, after you have studied the Cripps mission on Google, these statements will be very easy for you. Right? They will be very easy for you, and you will be able to attempt the answer. The same thing you will do. The question is with reference to 8th August in industry, which of the following is correct? Just go on Google and basically literally paste the 8th August, and you will read many things. There will be a page of Wikipedia as well, but Wikipedia is very big, and that is why I am saying anything that you are searching, put space UPSC so that you get the relevant links in which the information you should read, you are reading that, right? And then look at the options. Quit India resolution. Now, what will you do? You will go on Google and read about Quit India resolution. Then Viceroy's Executive Council. Again, you will go on the Google, write Viceroy's Executive Council space UPSC and try to understand what even it is. Then Congress ministries resigned. What does that even mean? Go on the, well, I will teach you all these things, don't worry. But I'm trying to tell you, this is how you will do the PYQs, right? One by one, you will decode the options and the questions. And I kid you not, you will be far ahead of your competitors if you study like this, right? That is very, very important. And these are some questions from mains as well. Right? These are some questions from mains. For example, in 2021, a question was evaluate the nature of Bhakti literature and its contribution to Indian culture. So you will have to do the same thing to mains as well. Go to the UPSC website, download the PYQs. So this is the question from GS paper 1. Right? Look at the question. Evaluate the nature of Bhakti literature and the contribution to Indian culture. You know everything except for the Bhakti literature. Obviously, we will read this. We will read this part. But what will you do? You will go on the Google, write Bhakti literature, space UPSC, and read about it. Right? These are the things you have to do to be ahead of your competition. That is how you will study this. Now look at this graph. Like, look at this graph. Look at the prelims cutoff. In 2013, it was 241. Why? Because back then the marks of CSAT, they were counted. Right? The marks of CSAT were counted. But now the marks of CSAT are not counted. You only need 33% and your work is done. A final cutoff will be made only from the GS1 paper of prelims. The marks of CSAT are not counted, but they used to be counted. And after that, look, the highest cutoff was in 2016. And constantly it has been falling. It has been constantly falling. And this time the cutoff was in 2022. It was 88 point something. And people are saying that in 23, the cutoff would be around, it could be around 82. So the cutoff of prelims is always falling because the level is also basically improving. Also, look at the mains examination. Like, let us go back. Let us go back here. Look at the right on the marks. How many marks basically are there that you are supposed to give? 250, 250, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? That is the thing. So 250 into 4 is 1000, right? And then again this is 750. So overall 1750 marks are the maximum marks for mains. Look at the cutoff. The cutoff is around 750. 750 is the cutoff out of 1750. It is less than, it is basically around 40%, 40 to 45%. These are the marks that you need. That means out of 10 marks, you need about 4.5 marks and you will clear the cutoff of mains. So when you are giving some mains test series in future and if you are getting 4.5 marks, don't get sad that I have only received 4.5 marks. It is so little marks. It is actually a really good marks, right? That is the thing. So this is the division of marks in civil services examination. So that was in general. So are there questions from optional paper or from GS? Are these questions? Oh yeah, these questions were from GS. That's the thing. See, now we have understood the pattern of civil services. We have understood a lot of things about mains, the questions that are asked, the cutoffs, the marks distribution. We have understood what a civil servant actually does, but we have a general idea of the examination that you are going to fight, right? That is the thing. But there are few more things that we need to discuss before we start with our syllabus for history. And before that, let me tell you one more thing. And this is dealing with prelims examination. Prelims has become the toughest phase of the entire civil services preparation, because it is very unpredictable now. You don't know where the question will be asked from, and you don't know how to attempt those questions. But the question is, how will you prepare for it? How will you prepare for it? There is only one way. Well, there are multiple ways, but there's one pattern. First of all, you will do the PYQs the way I have told you. You will be honestly doing that. Trust me, you will waste a lot of your time if you don't. You have to do them honestly. Be honest to yourself and then start doing them one by one, daily, in the same manner I told you how to do it. Secondly, you will attempt the test series. You can join the test series on our platform as well. After a while, we will launch a test series again. You can join the test series. You can join the test series of other coaching institutes, or you can literally go on and literally write free test series on the Google. There will be many links from which you can download free test series. I won't tell you the links, right? I cannot do that, but you can yourself find it out. There are many Telegram channels on which you can find it, and also on YouTube. So many people are discussing many questions, right? Many people are discussing questions as well. So you can literally assess yourself from that. But the question is, what is the point of doing test series? And how to attempt test series? There are many ways to attempt test series, but there is only one correct way of doing it. What will you do? You will make an Excel sheet, right? Do you know about the Excel software? It is a spreadsheet software. You will make an Excel sheet. I will show you another Excel sheet. Don't worry. We will do everything, right? After this class, you will know everything how to prepare. All the questions, all the anxiety you might have had about this paper, everything will be gone, right? That is my guarantee. So what will you do? See, first of all, suppose there are, like, you have taken the test series and you are now solving questions. So now the thing is, if you're solving a question, there are 4 options. I'm talking about the old pattern. The new pattern we will discuss in future. So A, B, C, D, there are 4 options, right? That's the thing. There are 4 options. And suppose you know 100%, you know that option B is correct, right? You know 100%. So you will mark this option as correct. Your work is done and you will move on. In a civil services prelims paper, maximum 30 questions, maximum to maximum 30 questions are those questions you will have 100% confidence for. Even the toppers, the first rankers, the second rankers, they know only 30 questions with 100% confidence. But if you multiply 30 by 2, that is 60. And what is the cutoff? The cutoff is around 90. On average, the cutoff is around 90. So the thing is, if you only rely on the questions, you know 100% the answer for, you will only basically get 60 marks and you will never in your life clear the cutoff. So now you have a problem. But the thing is that the toppers have cleared the cutoff. Many people actually get 110 plus marks. How? When they only know 30 questions, how is it possible that they are getting more than 110 marks? By attempting other questions. So let us see a new scenario, right? I've told you this and I set you up for a new scenario. This is a new scenario. What is this new scenario? In this scenario, you have read the question and you know the question, you understand the question, but you are not 100% sure. But the option is, let us say the question is that where is Mohenjo-daro? Right? Where is Mohenjo-daro? This is the most basic question you must know the answer for after we have done the things. But suppose you don't, right? Suppose you don't. So the question is where Mohenjo-daro? Option A is United States of America. Option B is Sweden. Option C is India. And option D is Pakistan. Now looking at the options, right? Looking at the options, you know 100% that it is not in USA. Definitely it is not in Sweden. And you are confused between India and Pakistan. Hypothetically, you are confused. Basically, you would know the answer to it, but I'm preparing for you a scenario. That look at here, you have eliminated how many questions? You have eliminated how many options? You have eliminated 2 options, right? Now, you are confused between 2 options, which means your chances, mathematically, your chances for getting it correct is 1 by 2 or 50%, right? And by mathematically, it is possible that there are 50% chances. If you mark India, you will be correct, or if you mark Pakistan, you will be correct, right? That's what I'm saying, that the 50-50 is the chance. But think about it. Suppose there are 25 questions in which you have 50-50 doubt, right? Suppose there are 25 questions in which you have 50-50 doubt. Suppose you attempt all these 25 questions. You have marked C or D in all these questions. By the mathematic law of probability, 50-50 means that out of 25, let us say 13 questions, or let us round it up. Let us say there were 26 questions in which you were confused in 2 options, 50-50. Out of these 13, and you have attempted all of them, out of these 13 are the ones in which you were correct, and 13s are the ones in which you were incorrect, because that is the mathematical law of probability, right? If in the 50-50 case, that is the outcome. If you are getting 13 correct, that means 26 marks, right? If you are getting 13 incorrect, what does that mean? It means around -8 marks. Around -8 marks will be deducted. So what is the overall net? What is the net outcome? The net outcome is that you are 18 marks in positive. Look at this. You would have not attempted this question because you are 50-50. But by using the math probability, right, you know that if you attempt 26 questions in which you were 50-50 sure, then overall you will be still getting 18 marks more. So now 30 questions you knew 100%. In that you are scoring 60. But suppose you make some mistake, right? You basically, under examination pressure, you read something differently, or you think something differently, or basically you mark the option wrong, and you are only getting 52 marks out of it, right? It is possible and it happens. Then add this 18 marks. So overall you are getting 70, right? You are already at 70. How many questions are remaining? 30 we have done, 26 are here. Now 44 options remain. Now do the same thing. Let us come to the third part. Right, we are now coming to the third part. This third part is going to be even more interesting. Suppose in this question, in the same question, suppose you are from Japan, right? You are not even Indian. You are for Japan and you have recently taken Indian citizenship and you are sitting for this examination. And then you will have no idea where is Mohenjo-daro. But suppose you think that, you know what? I know that Mohenjo-daro is not in Sweden. So you can eliminate Sweden, right? As a Japanese person, you might have some idea about Sweden and you think that, you know what, Mohenjo-daro does not sound that Swedish. So probably it is not there. But now you are confused between three options: USA, India, and Pakistan. And you are thinking, oh my God, what will I do? I don't know the answer to this question. And I have only eliminated one, right? You have eliminated only one option. In this, the chances of you getting correct is 33%. Don't you think? The chance is 33%, which is 1 by third. Suppose out of these remaining questions, 44, there were 33 questions, right? There were 33 questions in which you were confused in three options. In the 33 questions, you are confused in three options. Suppose you attempt all these questions, then by the law of math, one option is correct and two options are incorrect, right? That means 11 will be correct and 22 will be incorrect. 11 into 2 is 22. And if you basically do this, it is around 15 marks. 15 marks will be negative. And what is the positive? 22. And what is the net, my friends? The net is around 7 marks. Oh my goodness. Add this to 70 plus 7. How many marks are you getting? 77. Very good. You are getting 77 marks. Now the remaining are 11 questions which you have not attempted, which is fine. So by doing this exercise, what I'm trying to tell you, that you have to attempt around 80 to 90 questions and even more if you feel like it. But the question is, how will you do this? First of all, you have to identify the options you are 100% sure in, mark those. Then attempt those questions like separately in the question paper, mark that this is the question I'm 50% sure in. Why? Because I have eliminated two options. So then do that. And finally, do those questions in which you are 33% sure. Because if you attempt everything out in these 33 questions as well, in which you were confused in three options, still at the end of the day, by the law of math, by respecting the God of the math, you will still get 7 marks out of positive and you will get more marks. But the question is, still your final total is 77. The average cutoff is 90. You are still behind. So now, my friends, our final trajectory comes. What is this final part? Let us discuss it, right? Let me show you some Excel sheets so that it becomes much more easier for you to understand what I am trying to say. Okay. Can all of you see this Excel sheet? Write yes or no in the chat. Okay. Look at this Excel sheet very, very carefully. Look on the first column, right? Look at the first column. Look at the first column. These are the number of questions, 100 questions, right? This is basically one of the GS papers. I have just made this Excel sheet as an example. Look at the ans. Ans basically means answer, right? This is the section of answer. In this section, I have attempted those questions in which I was 100% sure about. So option 1 is attempted. Look, I have written B. Option 3, I knew 100%. I have attempted these 3, 4, 5. Then 6, I was not 100% sure. Then finally, in 7 and 8, I have attempted these. Then 10, 11, 12, I have attempted these. 14, I attempted. 15, I left because I was not 100% sure. And just like that, I have attempted these questions, right? And the questions which I did not attempt were those about which I was not 100% sure. I went back to the beginning of the paper and I started doing those questions which I have left. In the tukka section, I've literally marked a tukka for basically making it easy to understand. In the tukka section, I attempted those in which I was 50-50 correct. Right? I was 50-50 correct or 50-50 sure that this is correct or this is not. And then I started marking those. In the third section, it is a different section, but it is not correct. But what I would have done, I would have made it 33%, in which I have eliminated only one option, and then I am surprised and I'm confused between how many options. I am now confused between 3 options. So then I would have attempted these, right? And I would have marked those answer here. Then over here, look at the total questions attempted, how many I'm ranked in, how many I'm wrong in. And then I made how many marks I have received. How many, wait a second. So I made it correct. Obviously, these are the correct, these are the wrong, etc. Then I made a tukka probability that if I make a guess, by tukka I mean an educated guess. If I make an educated guess, how many am I correct in? Right, that is something how you will calculate your own probability, because technically in 50-50 questions, the probability of getting correct is 50%. But if you have good knowledge, and you have good foundational understanding of all the topics, trust me, your your accuracy for 50-50 would be almost around 70%. Your accuracy will be almost around 70% and not 50%. And that will only happen if you study more. Then the accuracy was 33% for 33. That accuracy can be around 45% if you study very well, right? So because your educated guess will become even more, like even better. And look at the questions I was 100% sure in. The options which are in red, they are the ones I got incorrect, right? It is very possible that I think that I know the answer, but for some reason I have marked that incorrect. That means you just cannot rely on the options that you know. The accuracy for the options you know 100% is 90%. The accuracy for which you are confused between two options, mathematically it should be 50%. But since you have good foundational knowledge, by you have I mean in future you will have good foundational knowledge, it will be much easier for you to increase your accuracy to 50%. And finally, the 33% accuracy that you should have, it will increase to 45%. This should be your goal. And if you do this, your marks will be more than 90. And trust me, this accuracy can reach even 80 and 50, right? In both these categories, the accuracy can reach 80 for 70 and 50 in case of 33%. This is possible. I have seen students do it. I have done it myself, right? This is how you clear the civil services. Every time you attempt a test series, you will make this Excel sheet and learn about what is your accuracy, so that you can be sure of taking these chances in exam. Because if you're not sure of taking these chances in exam, how will you even know if you're on the right track? You will have no confidence to attempt those questions which you are confused in the options, right? So that is all about how to approach prelims as well. Please write yes or no in the chat if you are clear with these concepts. See, that's the thing. I could have just started with history, but that doesn't make any sense. You must know what you are dealing with, right? If you are going on an adventure, you must have the map for an adventure. You must know what the journey is, and you must know what the final destination is, right? That is why I have explained to you all the things, all the different patterns. I told you different concepts, different way of understanding and studying. And this lecture is recorded and uploaded, so if some of you missed some point, or if you want to revisit the point, I will highly suggest that please watch this lecture at least one more time, after it is recorded, right? That is the thing. So will you also explain about mains? So Shishti, this is the thing, in NCERT, this is the NCERT course. We will discuss everything which is relevant to mains, and that is why I told you to make notes, because I will tell you everything, right? Everything under the roof, along even those things which are not in NCERT, I will be telling you. So you will be noting those things down in your notebook around that, and we will discuss mains. And I am thinking that I will start discussing about the mains answer writing pattern, right? Every week we will take one class in which we will discuss the mains answer writing pattern, right? That is something we will do, because I think it becomes even more important for you. And if you know what to write, it becomes easier for you to read, right? If you know what is expected in examination, it becomes easier for you to identify important, right? So there are three things which we will discuss. First of all, I have to take class on optional. Then we have to discuss the newspaper reading, which again Vishwajit sir will do himself, but I think I will do it separately. And finally, we will discuss about the mains answer writing. So these three topics I will cover in future upcoming classes. All right. So that for that you can rely on me. Now, before beginning history, you must know about the world map. Please download the world map and paste it on the wall or on your table, right? Or if you are using a laptop or a mobile phone, just make it your background wallpaper, right? That is something you should do, because the world map should be in front of you all the time. You should know everything about it, and we will discuss many things, right? History, as I said, it is very important with from perspective of the maps. We will study from the perspective of maps because it makes it very very easy. So there are few areas which you must know. You might have already known this, but I'm just telling you so that I get some satisfaction that you already know. So this portion of the world, this portion is known as Asia. This is the Asian continent. As you can see, Asia basically cuts the country of Russia into two parts. One part of Russia is in Europe, right? Because this part is Europe. This part is Europe. So it cuts the country of Turkey and Russia into two parts, right? That's the thing. One part of Turkey and Russia is in Europe, and other part of Turkey and Russia are in Asia. In Asia, you can see it is India, and all these regions. We will discuss them. Then there's Africa, which is over here. This is the continent of Africa. Then this is the continent of South America, and this is North America. Right? This entire thing is North America. This is South America. Then this is known as Australia. It is also known as Oceania. You might hear this name somewhere, so don't get confused. Australia continent is also known as Oceania. That is very important. And finally, the last continent is Antarctica, which is not on our map, obviously, because nobody lives there except for scientists. Right, that's the thing. So this is the overall map. You must know everything on the map, on the world map especially, because it becomes very easy for you to read other subjects as well. Even history becomes easy if you know these things. Right? Now let us zoom in a bit. Let us zoom in on our own country. Before that, this same practice can be applied on the change pattern of prelims paper. Yes, Saloni, it can be applied on that. And that is why I said that let us look at the introduction. And as I said, in future, we will discuss the new pattern of prelims. But the thing is that this same strategy of finding out your accuracy, because ultimately the options are four, right? The options are ultimately four, and you will eliminate one, two, or three options. So the same strategy will be, and it is very suitable for the new prelims paper. And as I said, we will discuss that as well. So how many times have you cleared the civil service mains? I have written mains 3 times, and I have cleared twice, which means I have given interview 2 times. So that is my background, if you're asking so much. All right, so now let us see the final zoomed in picture. Right, so this is the zoomed in picture, and we are discussing the further. The map is a bit weird here. All right, so we have zoomed in the world map. So I told you this is Africa, right? This is Australia. Obviously, this is India, and this is Europe on this side. Look at the few things. First of all, look at some naval routes. Look at some sea routes. This entire white portion is basically water, right? This white portion is water. So from here, for example, the country of UK is over here. The country of UK is over here. From UK, you can see you can come from this direction, right? You can come to India from this direction. Also, to come to India, you can go around Africa and then you can come to India, right? These are the things very important. If you want to go from India to Japan, how will you go? This is Japan, by the way. And this is Japan. How will you go to Japan? You can go through by this, crossing this route. This is called Malacca Strait or Makassar Strait. And then you can go through South China Sea. You can go to Japan. Or you can take a big route. Right? You can take another big route from down here and you can go to Japan. Fine. But there are some land routes as well. Don't you think? There are some land routes from UK or from other parts of the Europe. If you want to come to India, you can actually take the land routes as well. Let us see. If you want to come to India, you will go to Italy, Balkan regions, then Turkey, then the entire Arabic region. Finally, through Afghanistan, Pakistan, you will reach India. That is one way. And how will you go to Japan from land route? You will leave India from here, and then you will take a turn from China. Ultimately, you will reach North Korea, take a ferry, and you will go to Japan. See, I'm telling you this because this is how you should look at the world map. That what are the pathways available? Because this will become very easy for you to read things in future, right? Because to grasp new concepts, you must know about these routes which exist, so that it becomes much easier in future. There's one more route exam, for example, it is not mentioned here. Suppose if you want to go to, yeah, it becomes easy from in this. Suppose if you want to go to Sweden, right? Sweden is here. If you want to go to Sweden from India, what will you do? Either you can go from this direction. इसमें Africa नहीं है ना? इसमें Africa नहीं है. Africa is here. From this direction, you can go around. You can travel a long way, and finally, by crossing this, ultimately you will reach Sweden. Or you can start from here, end up in the Caspian Sea, take a ferry in the Caspian Sea, enter Russia, then leave this, enter Baltic Sea, and go to Sweden. See how small this route is, right? If you want to go to Russia from right hand side, from India, what can you do? You can literally go from here, then ultimately you can reach Russia. Or what can you do? You can leave India, go through China, and reach Russia. So there are different ways of doing different things. And that is why every new scheme in international relations that you will read, you will come across these new short routes. All the short routes, for example, this one through Caspian Sea, this is a new route. This wasn't there before. This older new route, which is going from here all the way to reach Russia, Sweden, other Nordic and Scandinavian countries, this is the traditional route. All the new treaties you will read about, it will involve the shorter route, right? So that is why I'm telling you this is the map which is very, very important. And as you can see over here, everything which is in blue is Asia, and then there are different parts of the world. Then this is specifically much more zoomed in part of Asia, right? As you can see, there are several countries in Asia, including India over here, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Mongolia, half of Russia, half of Turkey, right? And Saudi Arabia. This entire region, right? This entire region is known as, what is it known as? It is known as Middle East. The question is, why is it known as Middle East? Technically, see, East is in this direction, North is up there, South is in the south, and West is in this direction. So if you think about it, this region should be known as West Asia, right? Because it is on the, like, if you start from the center of Asia, technically this region is in the west of Asia. So it should be known as West Asia, but that is not the case. It is known as the Middle East. Why? Let us look at the world map again. Look at the world map and look it from the perspective of United States. Look it from the perspective of United States. So US is over here, right? I told you For US, everything which is left is west, everything which is down is south, everything which is up, by up I mean in the map, is north, and everything which is right is east, right? So this entire region is the east of US. So the US has divided this entire region into three parts: 1, 2, and 3. So this part is the Near East. Now, do you understand this? This part is the Near East because it is that east which is near to the US. This part is known as Far East because it is the furthest away, right? It is known as Far East, and that is why this part is known as, your guess is good as mine, Middle East, right? That's the thing. So especially the Arabic region of the world and other parts such as Iran, Turkey, Israel, Egypt, Palestine, Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, parts of Afghanistan, etc. That is known as the Middle Eastern region for this purpose. For Indians, we will call it Western Asia because it is in the west of Asia. But otherwise, for the US, it is known as the Middle East. Now look in this part. Look in this part. Look at Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. This region, which has so many stans, right? STAN is the end, except for, right, not including Afghanistan and Pakistan, all the other stans, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, they are known as Central Asia. Now, if you think about it, this region is not in the center of Asia, but anyway, this is known as the Central Asia. This is something you must know, right? Very, very important. This region is known as Central Asia. In history, we will talk about Central Asia a lot, especially in the ancient history, because Central Asia played a key part in this. So that's the thing. But right, so this is the Central Asian region. Finally, so we have discussed all these things. Now, before we begin with the so now, like if we discuss these things before we start discussing the exact syllabus, we must understand about a few things which will be always used. There are many words which will be always used in future documents that you will read, in the books you will read. They will be used multiple times. The thing is that you must know what they actually mean, and for that, let me tell you a very important thing: a difference between language and script. Now you are telling me and you are thinking, sir, I know this. Some of you might think that I have no clue. So let us see. Look at this sentence. Closely look at this sentence. This is one sentence. Look at the second sentence. The first sentence is Mera naam Vaibhav hai. For those people who don't know, who don't understand Hindi, the second statement is, hi, how are you? This is what I've written. What is the language in the first sentence? Hindi language, right? This is the difference. The language is Hindi because I'm saying Mera naam Vaibhav hai. This is the Hindi language. But hi, how are you? The language here is English. But this doesn't look right. Something is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because the letters and the words I have used are commonly not used with that language. So what is missing? What is the thing which is different? That is the script. The script here is the English script. It has a different name, Anglo-Saxon, but we will use English script. And the script here is Devanagari. So think about this. A language can survive without the script. I can write Mera naam Vaibhav hai in Chinese as well, in Spanish, in Spanish script, in Chinese script, in German script, and I can write hi, how are you in Devanagari script, in Kannada script, in Tamil script, and even in Chinese script, in Mandarin script, in Korean script. Don't you think? Yes, I can. So this is the difference between a language and a script. A language is a bhasha, right? It is about rules. Language is only about rules and how you say. Please remember this. Language is only about rules, grammar, and how you say things. But how you write is not language. Writing, anything which the symbols you are using to write, that is not part of the language. That is the script. Right? It is known as script. So this is the difference between the language and the script. Right? So for example, in the Sanskrit language, it has been around for a while. Earlier, Sanskrit was written in Brahmi script. Now you will be confused. What does that mean? We will discuss this. But Brahmi was a type of script. But in your books, in your school books, Sanskrit is written in Devanagari script. You will not be able to understand Brahmi script because it is very difficult. You will not understand the symbols, but you understand the symbols of Devanagari script, and that is why Sanskrit language is written in Devanagari script. Right? That is very, very important. Can you please say just no? Only say no if you don't understand the difference between script and language after I have explained it to you. Just write no if you don't, because this difference is very important going forward. Okay, so most of you do understand, right? This is very important concept, the difference between language and script. So on your like over here, you are looking at the languages, right? These are the languages. Originally, look at the arrow. Earlier there was Vedic Sanskrit. I'm talking about North Indian languages, by the way, right? There are two groups, the Indo-Aryan group and the Dravidian group. We will discuss these things much later, but the North Indian languages started with the Vedic Sanskrit. The result was Sanskrit, finally, right? And from Vedic Sanskrit came Prakrit. Please remember, Prakrit was a language. From this Prakrit came out another language, Shauraseni, and finally, if you basically think about it, this Shauraseni got converted into Hindustani, and other languages started merging. For example, Persian basically merged in medieval India. Persian language merged, out of which came out of Hindu. Sorry, not Hindu, Urdu and Hindi, right? After the merger of Persian language with Hindustani, Urdu and Hindi came out, right? And obviously, out of Hindi, other languages came out. And then, all the languages, Marathi, Dogri, Punjabi, Marwari, Gujarati, then Bihari, Bhojpuri, etc. They are all sons and daughters of Prakrit language. And where did the Prakrit language come from? It came from Vedic Sanskrit. Now, if you look at the Dravidian language family, there was a Proto-Dravidian language. Proto means old or something which was before. We don't have a proper name for it, so we just call it Proto-Dravidian. Now, this language was of multiple types: Central Dravidian, Northern Dravidian, and Southern Dravidian. Because this entire South India is not one unit, right? Because even suppose these are the people who suppose are speaking Proto-Dravidian. I've, by the way, drawn the peninsular India. So suppose all the people living here are speaking Proto-Dravidian, but after thousands of years, individual additions to these languages will start happening, and these individual languages were basically divided into Northern Dravidian, Central Dravidian, Southern Dravidian. In Central Dravidian, languages like Telugu came into being, which are spoken in Andhra Pradesh, then in Telangana, then the Southern Dravidian. This is the language in which Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, they came from, but they ultimately branched off. Why am I telling you this? You don't have to remember this, right? Do not remember these things. They are not important from exam point of view, but they are important from your understanding point of view. Because in future, we are going to study many things, and I will use these terms, Prakrit, Brahmi, script. So you must know what I'm talking about, and that is why I'm telling you. Now let us look at script, right? Language is about how you say things, but script is about how you write things, right? That is very important. How you write is script, but how you say is language. So originally, the language was Brahmi, very important. And look at up to 3rd century AD. And that is why what? Even Sanskrit was written in Brahmi language. Sa- Sorry, Brahmi script. Sanskrit language was written using Brahmi script. Then out of it, many different sorts of languages came. There was a Nagari language, and Nagari script, my bad. Nagari script got divided further into Bengali, Devanagari, and Odia. Please know that Odia language is very new. It has no relation with Hindi, etc. But Odia language, Odia script is quite related to Nagari script, which is very common to the Devanagari script. Then the Brahmi script also basically separated into others, which led to the scripts of Kannada and Telugu and Tamil today. So the Dravidian languages are very, very different than the North Indian or Aryan languages. But the script of both Dravidian languages and North Indian languages have common origin in Brahmi, right? That is the very, very important thing. What is script? A writing system. The words and the symbols you use to write, that is known as script. But how you say things, the words which come out of your mouth, and the rules and the grammar that you follow, that is part of the language. And this is ultimately the map of India, which you should memorize very, very, very well, because it will help you a lot. And in history as well, we will be using the map of India a lot, right? So you must know that different rivers as well: Yamuna, Ganga, Godavari, Kaveri, Tungabhadra, Brahmaputra on the right. Then look at this region. This region earlier, it had multiple names: Panjnad, Punjab, etc. Right? By look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rivers. Panj means five, Ab means do. Ultimately, we will discuss that as well. So this is how name came to be. This is where actually Indus Valley civilization started. Right? We will discuss all these things in upcoming lectures as well. So today was this introductory class that we conducted, and it was very important for you to understand what you are dealing with, what are the requirements of the examination, right? And what are the tools which are already available with you, and what are the tools you need to further progress in your examination. All right. So we will call it a day today, and tomorrow at 6 p.m. we will meet again. So please tell me if you like how I teach, or if there's something that you want to, is there a feedback you want to give? I can I can implement as well, because every new batch has new demands. So that's the thing. So yeah, this is it for today. And are you clear now? Are you feeling more confident? Are you feeling that you're in the right direction? Please write yes or no if that is the case, for me to know that as well, because that is what we need. We need positivity, we need confidence to clear this examination, for which lakhs of citizens sit, and ultimately almost around 900 people are selected. So sir, how many lectures are in history? Around 40 to 45, Rohin. I would say it could be less or more than that, but that is the thing. I will explain everything in like very expansive detail. That is the thing, right? Okay, okay. So yeah, it will be around 40 to 45 lectures, and we will complete history. But trust me, I will not rush anything. I will explain everything. And as I said, that is the purpose of live class, so that we have live feedback. The question that you're using and you're asking, that is very important. Yeah, thanks all of you for joining as well. And since this was an orientation lecture, please go through this once again. Right after this, tomorrow morning or before our lecture, go through this lecture once again. All the things I told you about the prelims, approaching these things, that is something you should do. So it's a 90-day course. History will take 40 days. Then what about other classes? Some classes will continue simultaneously. Aman, for example, polity and economy, it will start simultaneously, and even geography after a while. Right. So currently only history is going on. It is a 1.5 hour class, and then after a week or two, I think polity will also begin, and simultaneously in one day you will be having two classes. That is how we will cover the syllabus. All right. So we have everything figured out. So that's the thing. All right, thanks all of you. It was wonderful joining you, and yeah, all the best, and we will see you tomorrow. Sir, if you could give a brief structure of next class. All right, so see, tomorrow we will just begin with the history. So Pooja, I can give you, but it will be not that helpful. Let us see what happens tomorrow. Right? Yeah. So let us see what happens tomorrow, and after that, I will give you the topic from the next class onwards. Right? Let us get in a cycle, and then we will know what to do. Right? That's the thing. Okay. Okay. Bye. Bye. Bye.